Hello everybody, my name is Reese Arrington. In this video, I'm going to talk about scope of work, what it is, and how to achieve one that best suits your home. So, what is it? Scope of work are products and services rendered for a predetermined price. Or, to put it more simply, it's what your roofer is committing to putting on your roof. So here are some examples of what you might see on a scope of work. Replace the shingles, replace ridge shingles, replace underlayment, step flashing, counter flashing, pipe boots, heater stacks, vents, intake vents. All of these things also have questions surrounding them like what type of pipe boot, metal or plastic? How much decking are we going to replace? What technique are we going to use on the counter flashing? All of these details will affect the final price. So before you ask how much does it cost, we need to ask what exactly it is. One of the biggest mistakes homeowners can make is assuming that all the bids they've received have the exact same scope of work. Roofers' opinions vary. One roofer hasn't included any flashing. The other one has more ventilation. One bid has some rotten decking and the other one has a chimney cricket. Unless you've already provided your roofers with a detailed scope of work, the pricing on those bids is not going to be comparable. The scope of work is living. It will most likely change from what's on the first bids to what ends up on the final contract. So, if you have a roofer that you trust, sit down and have a conversation about what they think is best for your roof. They should have some ideas on how to replace your roof, but also how to make it even better. If they don't, now might be a good time to call Arrington Roofing. So if you do have 3 bids, you want to narrow it down first by scope of work, then price. Get to the point where you're comparing apples to apples. To do this, you'll first need to have a general idea of what it is you want. Just knowing the type of shingle you like will help get things off to a good start. If you have an insurance claim, please share the scope of work from the insurance company with your roofer. In an insurance claim, 100% of the scope of work from the insurance must be completed in order for you to get your full payment. And we just went over how complex a roofing scope of work can be, so don't make your roofers guess at it. Show them what the adjuster came up with and have them make changes from there. Once you receive your bids, pay attention to the differences in the scope of work and develop a new one based on your own personal research and the advice and evidence of your roofers. Sometimes they might suggest things that can save you a lot of heartache and money in the future. Now, with an insurance claim, your provider is going to have to approve all changes made by your contractor. And sometimes, we call these supplements, may be added during the construction process. Don't worry about those. Typically, you're covered in most situations that we've seen. Then, once you have your new scope of work, you're gonna ask your roofers to bid accordingly. Now, this shouldn't be a problem. Roofers typically really appreciate being able to compete on a new scope of work. And lastly, select your roofer based on price against track record and trust built. Now, this process might seem a little bit circular, but the reality is you don't always know what's best for your home. Roofing is complicated. Having a little back and forth to determine a good scope of work is necessary and will ensure you know exactly what you're paying for.